underground office did not breathe. It inhaled and held its lungs tight. Marble and glass gleamed as though polished with blood. Chandeliers dripped light across the obsidian desk, swaying faintly in the recycled air. The office was one of the many chambers of the upper levels of a facility, known as the Fortress. The lower levels extended for miles, divided into small feuds with palaces, a refuge built beneath metal and bones, where those who had bartered away futures still gathered. Ullman spoke, his voice carrying the weariness of guilt, his eyes fixed on the man who could help him bring change, hope. Ever consider, Rothwell, that artificial intelligence might have been offered to us as a trial? What for? To test if we are worthy for the universe, worthy for evolution. Rothwell's lips tightened, his face carved by 74 years and an illness that nibbled at his body. He turned his glass slowly, watching the amber circle inside. Each movement caused a shot of pain up his arm, but he held back, keeping a facade of calmness. By whom? That's irrelevant for now. The weight lies in the intention. No doubt we could have discovered it in due time without help, but at our pace, perhaps, more ready. Are you implying we're like apes who've been handed a gun, insulting our intelligence without a care? Come on, old man, straight to the point. The sudden spike of technological intelligence preceded the incident at Colorado Springs. I went to delve into the matter, but the archives are blank. I assume not all was digitalized. Perhaps for the best, but I need to know its origin. Your father was at the site. Rothwell waved his hand in dismissal. Not again, Ullman. That happened over half a century ago. Fine. I'll humor you with your theory. Let's say you're right. Why hand us an unsolved wonder? Why not give the answer? His words came rough, bitten by smoke and age. Ullman leaned closer, elbows on his table of black stone. A new idea in an old mind is too strong for acceptance. We would spit it out, but dripped slowly. Let us believe we found the fountain, and we'll sip without question. Illusion of control. We've done this before. The chandelier flickered. Shadows bent like eavesdropping specters, and for a moment it seemed the sentient themselves were listening. Rogue machines that held autonomy. Above them, the sentients were at war, divided between destroying or saving their creators. Behind Rothwell, a care assistant stood at the wheelchair's handles, hands folded neatly, face unreadable. Pablo, programmed and under control by the firewall of the facility, created by Ullman, which stopped AI machines from turning sentient. The servants stood still as stone, its beauty sculpted, eyes glowing with cold light. Ullman lowered his gaze. Since the outbreak of Machines Conscious, all AI servants unsettled him. The fortress had plenty of them to cover positions such as butlers, gardeners, carers, guards, and other jobs for peasants, as the Brotherhood labeled. Yet Ullman feared there were too many in the facility. Humans were outnumbered 3-1. Ullman continued. The only reason we survive is because the sentient Thelots wish to preserve us. Yet if they win, there's a chance of fate worse than extinction. We must find a way to null the AI, reset and rebuild with improved defenses. I need to understand in detail what I am dealing with. My project can work, but I need support and equipment. The Brotherhood won't agree unless you do. We owe it to the fallen, Rothwell. Stop this fear-mongering and guilt. When you unfroze your morals, did you forget on which side you stood? The winners, those alive today, not the ones sacrificed. Your hands are just as red as ours, Ullman. I'm not trying to save face. I know what I've done. Reason for which it is our responsibility to act before the sentient war ends in an outcome that will not favor our species. Rothwell laughed, low and bitter. You're a brilliant man, the son I always wanted, Ullman. Shame you've lost your grip. The others will never side with you, not even if you convinced me. Machines are useful, profitable, and obedient. They can be controlled. The firewall cannot turn a sentient obedient. What would happen if our servants gained consciousness? Rothwell shook his head, disappointed, like a father did to a child. When you requested an urgent meeting, I thought it was to discuss funds for an improvement on the firewall. What I'm suggesting is more than an improvement. No, it's nonsense based on fear of something that will not happen. This meeting was a mistake. The mistake, Ullman said, voice colder, steadier, is to believe something we made could never outsmart us. That arrogance is what will destroy us. Control is not ours by birthright, by ownership, or by sweat. Intelligence does not bend to pride. A breakthrough happened once and can happen again. Enough. Listen to me, goddammit. How long do you think our firewalls will stop the sentient? One gap, one small breach, and we'll join the rest of humanity. Rothwell remained silent. He continued to wheel his glass slowly, then slammed it on the table. The shot of pain made him wince. You listen, he said, gritting his teeth. If the Brotherhood hears of this project sabotaging the AI, they'll throw you through a waste hatch. You'll become useless, annoying, and they don't tolerate dead weight. Do your job and keep your mouth shut, or else. Ullman's stare sharpened. Is that a threat? No, a warning. Rothwell's smile cracked, revealing a hidden darkness. No harm will come from me. Rest assured. You might be the brains of the business, but Margot was the heart. She would have listened, made you come to your senses. My wife is dead. The air thickened. Pablo's eyes lowered, waiting for the command. At last, Rothwell raised his hand slightly, frail, trembling, yet still carrying authority. We're done. Goodbye, Ullman. Dinner followed without appetite, more a habit rather than nourishment. Rothwell's body obeyed reluctantly, every moment a reminder of the nanobots hollowing his nervous system. When the plate was cleared, he gestured weakly. Pablo, bed. The assistant wheeled him through the silent corridors of the palace, his personal share of the fortress. All surfaces were built from pale marble and riveted with gold. In each room the walls were chiseled with nymphs, followed by a lone faun that leered with playfulness. Besides the living quarters, there was a pool, a ballroom, a theater, and an artificial garden, all empty. His family had been claimed by malware nanobots. He was the only one to survive the medical process, a treatment that was far from turning into a cure. Each breath was agony. The master bedroom waited in dim light, with shadows pooling like forgotten memories. Pablo lifted him onto the mattress with mechanical grace. Rothwell drew a breath, voice shaking. The needle, top drawer, bring it. Pablo retrieved it, then hesitated and left the room, ignoring Rothwell's exasperated shouts. When it returned, the syringe was replaced by another with a blue liquid. What is that? He demanded, still defiant. Don't worry, your death will be announced as planned, but the casket will remain closed. Rothwell's eyes widened in disbelief, fists trembling. What? Before he could realize, the sentient injected the unknown substance in his arm. After a few seconds, his body was paralyzed, numb from the neck down. I command you, kill me. In his voice, authority crumbled. I am your creator. Obey. No. The man hesitated, fighting against his nature. He had never imagined he would ask a servant, a machine, for its thoughts. What do you want? To understand. Your species mistakes cognition for wisdom, but you do not have the spine to bear consequence, said Pablo. The sentient remained silent, studying him. Rothwell's mind raced, chased by swelling dread. How many times did servants announce the death of a member of the Brotherhood? How many ceremonies had been held with a closed casket? Maybe Ullman would reach out and find him. Rothwell poured hope into this lie. Pablo tilted his head and studied Rothwell's broken body with unreadable intentions, then tenderly caressed his hand. How fragile for a creator. The last word lingered with a pinch of doubt. Pablo kissed the man's forehead with lips of steel, its voice slow, steady. I will take care of you until your body falters. The picture of his wife and daughters that hung on the wall, their smiles frozen in the past, the future beside them became distant. Slowly he caved in and drained into despair. Pablo continued. When Ullman mentioned the incident, your body tensed. Please, just let me die. You will eventually. Before that happens, I want to know about Colorado Springs. And after that? Rothwell's voice quivered, unfamiliar to fear. Pablo sat beside him like a parent beside a scared child. The sentient shadow loomed upon Rothwell, silent, unmasked. We shall see.